Thank you for joining us not only today, but hopefully all afternoon. And I'll take you through the agenda I'll be joined by a partner as well for the rest of the day and another session tomorrow. So 4 sessions I'll be delivering. And I'll share more about my background and why I'm passionate about being here at BMES. Great. Today's session is on how to get your first job or your early career job. Many of you have had jobs, internships, etc. So don't think this is about my first job at Burger King or McDonald's. This is about our real career and getting it going. And I'd like to just tell you a little bit more about my background to make it more relevant to you. Now, I'm getting some feedback up here. Is this too loud for all of you? Should we turn it down a little, or is it okay? Okay? Excellent. If you need anything at any time, we have Jolene. Why don't you raise your hand? Is Jolene? Yes? In the back? Yes. Sophia. See, I went from Sophia to Jolene. Not sure why. Sophia's our monitor. If you need anything from her, please go see her. Thanks for those who showed up early. We only had 100 handouts, but all of the handouts are available online, and I'm going to show that to you. So all the tools that I give out, that we deliver here for BMES, are going to be on your share site, including the presentation. So you don't have to take pictures of slides or copy down all the copy, but certainly be prepared to write and take the nuggets that you need to accelerate your job search right away. Again, I'm Dana. If you need anything, and I'll take questions at the end, but just join us. We want this interactive as well, where you do have urgent questions or you don't understand something, or if I accidentally said an acronym that made no sense, I want you to say, hey, what was that you just said? So my background over 30 years after graduate school, I got my MBA, is zig and zagging. And I hope your careers zig and zag as well. Please erase any myths of a straight path through one direction, one industry, one company. I just hope that myth is busted. You may have that, but welcome the zigging and zagging. So out of grad school, I went to grad school at Thunderbird as an MBA program in Phoenix in international business. I sold for IBM. So my background is all sales and marketing. I'm not an HR person or recruiter. I've been hiring people for 30 years, and that's why I've transformed to helping back the rest of my career to help you. At Avery Dennison, I was in marketing, product management, then 5 years with Sealand, a shipping company. So zigging and zagging on industries. And I lived overseas in Hong Kong for 2 years and Rotterdam for 2 years. So international exposure with my husband and kids in tote. So as we all know, the work-life balance with growing a career is always a challenge. It can be done. I then went to Kodak in Rochester, New York, and was VP of Worldwide Marketing for all digital imaging, so mostly technology in my background, especially the last 11 years at Microsoft at headquarters in Redmond, Washington, where I was General Manager of Worldwide Sales, leading a $3 billion business and over 500 in sales under my management leadership. And then all of a sudden, I just changed careers because I want to live my legacy the rest of my decades ahead. And now I'm a career expert, coach, author, and speaker, as well as a private coach to executives who really want to accelerate their career track or students. So that's what I do. I constantly write. I'm on radio, TV, and just help millions and millions. And so excited to be here and help with this great curriculum that BMES, Terry Young, who has put this whole thing together. When you see her, we'll give her a round of applause. But this is just enormous that all of you are given the gift here from BMES. So take it, and now fasten your seatbelts. Get that pen out, because I'm going to go pretty fast on a pretty broad spectrum of things you need to know and watch out for. Now, how many of you are looking for a job actively right now? You're out there, great. How many of you within the next 6 months are going to start? Excellent. How many of you are graduating next May, June-ish? A lot. Okay, excellent. This will be very relevant for you. And I'm gonna call on some things that you may be doing wrong. So don't worry, I don't know you, and I'm not picking on you, and you're not crappy. It's just that crap comes in two forms. Mistakes that you're making that you may not know you're making, or excuses you're giving yourselves that are sabotaging your ability to get that job. And not just get that job, win that job, because it's so competitive, right? It still is highly competitive, even for engineers today. So excuses, if you find yourself saying, we'll start getting your head screwed on straight, and then we'll get into real tactical stuff, okay? I can't, I don't, I won't, it's hard, wow, I don't have that, I don't have 5 years in this, I only have 2 years in that. Or their job description asks for all this, and I only have 50% of it. So what? So I want you to get out of those, I call it the little devil on my right shoulder, and whenever you have that negative speak going on to yourself, just like as if you have dandruff, just get that guy out of there, guy or girl, whatever you want it to be. To me, he's a dude, but you can make him whatever you want. Okay? That's part of the crap. And then the other side are mistakes that you don't know you're making. So I want to prevent a bunch of those today. I'm going to give you some thumbs up, thumbs down on do's, don'ts, tricks, and traps that are so important, because some of the most average mistakes are avoidable. Some mistakes you're all going to make are totally avoidable. So I want your eyes wide open on, wow, that is a big mistake, and I've made that, or I was about to make that. So that's where we're going to focus. But I want you to know that these are so much more important than ever before for your generation and for any job seeker at any age today, because it's a new era of job search. Everything has changed. Now, for many of you, it's your first, so you're saying, well, so what? I don't care what it was like 10 years ago. But you need to know what's different about today. And for some of them, it's to your advantage. So for people my age, you know, baby boomers, they have to relearn. For you, you get to enter this new era. It's more competitive, duh. We all know the numbers, we all know unemployment, and we know for students and graduates, the numbers are even higher than what we see in the paper. It's upwards of 23.5% with the latest national numbers for students coming out of college. Now that varies by industry, it varies by degree. That's just a national number. But it's more competitive, it's also more technology-based. Now you're probably saying, woohoo, that's great, I love technology, that's my field. It's not so great, because it's meaning there's technology behind the screen of the hiring manager that's scanning your resume and kicking it out without even meeting a person. So that's called applicant tracking systems, or when you submit online, and this is why what's in your resume and the keywords you use are so important, but there's so much more technology, including LinkedIn as a technology, including social media as a technology. So you need to learn all of that. There's less tolerance for errors. Folks, and I know over half of you, my guess, maybe less, English is a second language. So what? You don't want to hear that, but that means you need to proof your submittals, your applications, your resume twice as much, or get someone else to look at it for you. There's no forgiveness of a grammatical error, a typo, okay? And being late for an interview, late for a phone screen, unacceptable. You'll get thrown out. That's not someone I'm going to hire. So that's what I mean by less tolerance for errors. So I want you eyes wide open on how sensitive this job search market can be to the slightest little error. And new skills are needed, but I don't need to spend time on that, because you're getting the new skills that are needed with your degrees, with your training. This would be more appropriate for different audiences who are getting educated on something that's not needed out in the industry. So that's an overview. Unfortunately, starting a little negative with obstacles and crap and all that, but I'm going to turn it positive by giving you a program, something to follow, okay? So you need to get on a program. And how many of you consider yourself great at project management? Be proud. You should be with the field you're in. Analytical? How many of you are analytical? I hope a few. Oh, the rest of you are just shy, huh? Come on. Okay, so analytical, project management. How many of you have a huge workload right now at school? Huge, right? And you're organizing it. What do you do? Obviously, you're organizing it. You're stack ranking, you're prioritizing, you're getting it done, you're getting it done. How come with job search, it all falls down? You manage it on yellow sticky notes. You know, I'll do it when I can, when I get a free hour. you need to put your job search on the track of a program. Not even whether call it a different class and treat it as such, but it is a high priority to be super analytical and super organized with, or things will fall down. And you'll wonder why the next guy got the job and you didn't. Now let's take you out into the industry. You're a microcosm of the world here. And the problem statement is the following. You're on the left, okay, and you're just clamoring for that great gig. You know what you want, where you want it, or you don't, but you're going to go find something. And these are the emotions you're going to go through. You're going to go through rejection. You're going to be frustrated that companies aren't getting back to you at all. They're not giving you any feedback. They've gone radio silent, crickets. All of those. You're going to be nervous, lacking confidence, wondering what, oh, the next guy looks like, you know, he's going to get it, or she's dressed better. That's what you're going to go through. However, you need to know who's on the other side of the table, the hiring manager, and they're equally stressed. So don't think they've got it made and they're in the driver's seat. They've got one head count or one internship, and they need to fill it with the best person. And the only way they can do that is with this interview process. But guess what the buyer gets? So I'll play the buyer, this guy on the left. He wrote what to you? What do you read online? Job descriptions, right? That's his spec, his or her, the buyer's spec is that piece of paper. That's all you got. And now what are you submitting in to apply to that job? Resume, thank you. Why? This is the broken part of the industry. And how many of you know the book Where's Waldo, or know of Where's Waldo? Probably some, not as many. Where's Waldo is a great game. It's for little kids. Some of you were raised on it, but some of you from overseas may not have had it. And it's just a picture book. And Waldo is this guy, but there's a bunch of Waldos in the picture. So kids need to hunt and find exactly this guy. There's fake Waldos with wearing a different boots or different hat. This is the game of the hiring manager. So I've just written a job description to you, and you're giving me a resume, and you're making me hunt, dig through your chronological list of stuff and figure out how you meet my spec. That's broken. And I want you to leave today fixing that for the hiring manager. That's your job to play Where's Waldo for him or her, the hiring manager, and say, pick me. I'm Waldo. So I want you all to be Waldo, and I'm going to teach you how. But let's go back to the crap, to the common excuses. And I want you all to think carefully, especially those of you searching right now. I see some smiles already. Have you said any of these to yourself? By the way, there are many more chairs up here. Please come on in, have a seat. And if you, so how many of you have said to yourself one or two of these or more? Now, thank you for the honest ones. The rest of you are either lying or just think about, did a friend of yours say it? And then you'll probably raise your hands. But this is clearly what, be honest with yourself, okay? That you're in that slump, you're giving yourself that excuse. So I want you to erase those, start over. If I had the Men in Black neuralizer, you'd all be zapped right now. See, I could erase whatever you think about job searching, because it can be fun. You can learn a lot and even be more effective in your future jobs if you do this right. So I'm going to break it down into 3 phases. I believe in, excuse me. You'll hear me throughout today and tomorrow, the law of 3s. Might want to write that down, but if you think of either saying everything in just 3 steps and zipping it, or thinking about a process in 3 steps, it's a winning strategy. I've used it throughout my career. Number 1, we're going to go through setting a goal. 2, preparing, and then applying and interviewing. And this is super high level, guys. In an hour, we can't cover it all in detail. It's all covered in my book. And by the way, I didn't bring books to sell or anything. It's on Amazon, and all the proceeds are donated to Junior Achievement. I'm on the worldwide board helping the kids, our K through 12. So, but you can go get that on Amazon. It has every detail about this in there as well. First, setting a goal. Now, you all may think you have a goal, especially because you have a degree and you know your space. However, that's not a goal. Job search goals are very specific, very precise. And once you land on one, then you'll be able to tell your network, your fellow students, your school, what you're looking for, and you'll be able to hunt and get that job because you're focused. So it's precise. How many of you have seen Tom Cruise, Jerry Maguire? Jerry Maguire. There's a great phrase, not a lot of you, go rent it, is a great phrase in there of help me, help you, that they're yelling all the time. And that's what you want to become. You want to help your network or people at your school, career placement, help you by giving them a great goal. So what do I mean by that? So if we had time, if we did a whole workshop, you would fill this out and we'd talk about it. But I want you to be able to state the function that you want, literally what chair do you want your butt sitting in, day out, 8 to 5. And you can only learn this by reading job descriptions. After today, tomorrow, go to the boards and just read tons of job descriptions. I call it window shopping because you'll learn, oh, I see, that job does that job does that, that's what I want. So what function, what industry, what city would you like to target, what cities? And then you can drill into what companies are located that fit that goal, that are in this city. And you write it out. You write everything out, just like you do your class projects. So here's some practice, and here's some no-nos as well. A little trick, if you see the little red arrow down, that means no bueno, no good. This is what I commonly hear, and we all do as coaches when we ask any one of you, what is your goal? Well, we get a few things, and none of them are goals. We get, oh, I'm flexible. I can do a lot of things, even in the biomedical engineering space. Oh, I'm flexible. I'll do pharma. I'll do medical devices. Well, let me tell you about my background. That's another answer. No. I didn't ask what's in your background or what's on your resume. I asked it's a future question. What are you looking for? All future. So you want to be grounded in an answer. And the last one, I'm looking, anything that starts with I, it's not about you. Okay, so I'm looking for an exciting position that leverages my background. Okay? No, you want to frame it in market terms. I'm looking for a job that's like this on the job description. So I'm going to give you an example of a great goal, and I want all of you after this to practice one for you. And it's so short and so dumb simple, so it'll take all this complexity away. I'm looking for an entry-level civil engineering position. I just made one up in Charlotte with a large engineering consulting firm. That's it. And you zip it. You don't need to add that leverages my background in this, that does that. It has function. It has a level, a function, a city, and about a sense of size. So having a great goal that you can put on your LinkedIn profile, that you can share with one another, super important first step. Because without the goal, you don't have permission to go shopping because you don't know what you're going and looking for. So I'd really like you to feel accountable and responsible for articulating your goal and running it by your fellow students, your career placement center, really anchoring in your goal. Now, the goal, by the way, is your bullseye in a dartboard. So I don't want to limit you to just that, but it's so great knowing what's in the middle because you always have the second rung and the third rung. You can know what your second goal is. But be focused. Be comfortable having a goal and a purpose. Don't feel you need to be all things to all people. Then we can go into preparing. Because now you get your ducks in a row, all these wonderful phrases about just plain old preparation. And it's so important in the job search. And it's the top thing missing. Why? You have your resumes. It's so easy to spray them out there, right? Oh, I see a job. Click. Oh, I see another job. Click. That's getting you nowhere, and it's actually hurting you, especially if you apply too many times to one company. That applicant tracking system I told you about earlier is actually dinging you for spraying and praying. So stop doing that, and I'm going to tell you the right way here, and it's first pause and get prepared. So first prepare your resources for jobs. You know, where are you going to go explore opportunities, and who that you know might know someone who knows someone. It's starting to build your network now. And everyone's top excuse, there are no jobs or I don't have anyone in my network to ask. Well, there are a ton of jobs. They might not all be right for you or in the city you want to live, but you need to list out your network. And there's an exercise also in the book to do that, which is basically spelling out, okay, your alumni network, your people you know, friends of your parents. You need to really exhaust who might be able to help me, because we're so afraid of asking other people for help in our career. We want to do it alone, right? We want to just go into our room behind our computer and go get a job. Well, it doesn't work that way. The other thing you need to do is track and log everything. And I hope this is music to your ears, because you are all incredibly analytical. You value the work that you're doing on your computer. So part of preparation is building your tracking tool as well of every move you make on your job search. Now, of resources, let's just pause on where am I going to go find those jobs. I hope you know right here and in your computer backyard, meaning a click away, is the BMES job board. And a show of hands, how many of you are on it already? You already know about it. Very few. 10%. Okay? And that's about the same number, less than 10 here, actually it's about 5. It's about 10% of students even go into their career placement center as well. It's shocking. So you have these resources, so please know that that's on Career Connections. Are you researching for jobs? You can even go there and window shop on jobs to learn, remember the window shopping, to learn what's in job descriptions. What is the market looking for? So read tons, here's a homework assignment, read tons of job descriptions now, even if you're not looking, and go to Career Connections. The other resource I really, really like for a number of reasons is in 43 cities across the US, there's something called your business journal. You can write that down, or the link is on there, bizjournals.com. And it's a way to get your finger on the pulse of industries in the city that you want to work in. So even if you're studying in New York and want to work in Austin, you get the Austin Business Journal and can start reading about the pharmaceutical companies and the new CEO here and the merger there. So please consider investing. It's low cost for a year's subscription online and paper in your local business journal. Because no matter what you're doing, you're part of a business ecosystem, not just an engineering ecosystem, but get to know, and there are networking opportunities in this journal as well. Each city also has, if those of you are looking to aim at a particular city, you can buy a standalone book of lists. And it's a big tabloid that lists all the top engineering companies, architectural firms, hospitals, big lists of companies in those cities. And that's about $60, so you can invest in those if you can afford it. So I'm just sharing with you resources that I hope you're jotting down, and you'll get the PowerPoint deck as well later after the series. Networking is critical to job search. So we don't have time today to go into networking for jobs, but there's another session today that I'll be leading at 3:15. So please come on back here for more networking for success, specifically for job search. It's designed just for you. Now, let's go back to preparation. What did I mean back there by being utterly prepared before you start to search? And a top excuse is, I don't have time. I know you're all thinking that, oh my God, your day, you're already only getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep. I know it, been there. And I've had 2 kids go through college, and they've been there too. Somehow, if getting a job is extremely important to you, you need to make this another thing to do, another project, not a by the way, not I'll fill it in. So you need to ask yourself, what is more important? I know health is very important, exercise, eating is very important, but you've got to get this, and the only way it's going to get done, job search, is if it's in your calendar. So how many of you use your technology to manage your day to day, from 8 to 9 to 10? Okay, not so many of you. Show me again. How many use a calendar? Thank you. A little more. Still about 50%. What, the rest of you just wing it? Talk to me here. What do? You use a little day timers on paper? I don't know. Whatever you do, I recommend using technology that's always on either your smartphone, of course, or your PC, and block out time in your day. And that, at least for job search, make it a different color. Make it orange. You know, whenever that's it, that's locked down. That's your time to do the things that are required to go get your first job or your next great opportunity to move your career forward. Okay, start practicing that now. If you don't do it, frankly, then you're not that committed to job search because there's no shortcuts. And I know I have my youngest son, he's 24. I call him Chad the shortcut kid. He just wants to just like, Mom, fast money. Mom, isn't there an easier way to do it? No. No, you can't shortcut your way into a job because the next person is winning the job because they prepared. So here's a job search schedule. Something is similar to this. These are all downloads and handouts, downloads that come free with the book. Everything I'm showing you is all free to you, but make it your own and put yourself on a schedule, okay, to manage your job search end to end, or it won't get done. Guaranteed. Simple math. Here's one, an excuse. I'm not organized. And some of you may not be. You may be great engineers and stuff, but boy, you're just a mess when it comes to organizing your day, your life, making your bed, whatever. That's okay. Stay that way. If you, it's up to you. It's your personality. I'm not a therapist, but I did build a tracker for you. So, at least use one page, one Excel that you can track every application that you make, every time you follow up, or don't forget to follow up because it's in your tracker. So I want you to at least get discipline on what it is you're doing that's driving to success. And I'll tell you why. Last year here at BMES in Seattle, how many of you went to BMES in the Seattle, Washington? Okay, not too many because I guess it waves as you grow into be a senior, etc. Well, we did only one session on interviewing. But the challenge isn't, and that'd be great if you had the problem of how to interview, and we're going to have that mock session for you today at 5. But the biggest challenge is getting the interview. So you've got to be great at following up and getting to get the interview. That's the hardest part. Now, you still have to do great in the interview, don't get me wrong, but you've got to win interviews. So first you're going to have a phone interview, most likely a phone screen. You've got to do great in that phone screen. Don't take it lightly. And that to win a face-to-face interview. So it's a step-by-step process. And the other candidate is organized. So if you're not, you're going to forget to follow up, to send that thank you note, and you forget, and you get a phone call, and they'll say, hi, this is Sally from ABC Pharma Company. So who? And oh, did I apply there? Or when did I apply? Yeah, we're looking at your application. Uh-oh. And we want to talk to you right now about that job. You're not going to be able to find the job description. You're not going to know what they're talking about, and they'll hang up saying this person's just not that into us, doesn't want to work for us. Okay, so those are real stories. Real things are going to happen if you're not committed. So I want you to leave here a little shaken, I'm just kind of jolting you on the work that it takes, especially to get the great jobs that you want. So now I'm going to head into the part where the real crap comes out in terms of applying and interviewing. So you ready? Let me take a deep breath and also ask if anyone has any burning questions. I can take 1 or 2 about preparation, because then we're going to go into the real meat on applying and interviewing. Excellent. You all with me? Yes?
How often would you recommend following up after applying?
Excellent question. How often do I recommend following up after applying? So first you're going to follow up once, of course, within 24 hours with a thank you note. So that's considered one, and you must do that, and it must be via email. So don't leave any interviews without asking for their email address, okay? That's once. Then 3 more times spaced 7 days apart. Not 2, not 1. You're not going to be a pest. I wish everyone's so worried about being a pain to them. I wish you had that problem. You're just giving up and you're waiting for them to come back to you. You're the one who owns the follow-up. So you put it in your calendar for 7 days. If you hear from them, great. But if you don't, you follow up another 7 days, another 7 days. Be great at it. There's a whole chapter on follow-up because it's really broken out there and you can stand out. As a matter of fact, I am going to give a little story. My oldest son was with GE Capital for 2 years after undergrad. And then he wanted to move to San Francisco and work for a few cool companies in the green technology space. He's a finance guy. So he applied to Tesla. And he got the phone interview. Great. He followed up. And then he got the face-to-face interview. Went through a whole day. Then didn't hear from them. So naturally, guess whose mom? Me. So Shane, have you followed up yet? No, Mom. They said they'd get back to me. Shane, you want that job? 7 days later, follow up. Okay, so he did. Didn't hear from them. Shane, did you follow? It's time. Did you follow up with them again? No, Mom, I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to follow up with them. They said they're going to get back to me. They responded to the last thank you saying, no need, we're fine, kind of a, don't call me, don't call us. It was very, very gentle. I said, no, Shane, follow up. In a new note, tell them how much you want this job. Tell them you just read an article about Tesla. Again, third time, he's in pain. He's, Mom, I'm not doing it. Oh, no, you're doing it. So he did. So 5 weeks, he stopped after the third. 5 weeks went by, and they called him. He said, Mom, they set up a call with me, and I'm sure I'm getting a big rejection tomorrow. They said, Shane, we're sorry we took so long. We had quarterly reviews, everything going on, and we had a bunch of candidates that qualified and made it all the way through to the CFO like you did. So we just had a meeting. We reviewed everyone, and some people had their favorite candidates. I had mine, and we picked you because of your follow-up. So take that to the bank and be the one who is the pest. Excuse, I've been applying with no results. A lot of you have, right? How many of you have been spraying and praying? Oh, come on, admit it. You're amongst friends. Oh, you liars out there. Come on. Resumes don't get people jobs. They just don't. They don't work. Posting a resume on a board. It is going into a black hole. You have to do it. I'm not saying don't send out resumes. But if you've been getting no results, the only person accountable for that is you, to change your game. Here's a list of things you can change. I need to change the way I'm applying. I need to change my resume. Am I sending out cover letters at all? Probably not, and you should be. With every resume, page 1 of your resume, write this down. Page 1 of your resume should be a cover letter tailored to that job, not 2 separate files. So when it says post your resume here, there's your resume, but it has a great cover letter on it. I have the template for your cover letter you can steal word for word. Okay, follow up, you're networking, you're interviewing. It's on you, folks. Don't blame the company. Don't blame them or anyone else. So I'm going to help you change your game today with a few things, so much more, but we just are limited on time. First, applications. So everyone wear your hat. We're in application land. You don't have the interview yet. You have a fantastic resume. Oh, I've already done step 1, attach a cover letter, proofread, and proofread it again. Read things out loud to yourself. Amazing how many cover letters I get that say the. Don't just rely on red squigglies and green squigglies. And never, I know from Microsoft, I can say that, and never write your cover letter in an email body first. There's no way to edit. Write everything in Word, and then you can always import it in if you want it in the body of an email. But please proofread, and you know what? The best is asking someone else to read your stuff for you, because we just read stuff that we wrote and think it's all that, and a bag of chips, and it's not. So I want other people to read and say, what does this sentence mean? Invite someone to say, does this make any sense at all? Okay, are you speaking in your letters or in your applications to them? I want you all to pivot your brain from it's all about me and how great I am to I need to fit their spec. I need to match, I need to meet their needs. They have a gap, I want to fill it. It's that old block of square pegs, round hole, all that. You want to be the right peg in the right job description, right? Don't, RAA, random acts of application. That's spraying and praying, okay? Just stop the random applying to things, hoping that you're playing the odds game, that if you shoot out 100 resumes, maybe 10 will call you. Doesn't work like that. Don't send a resume alone. That's the inverse of always have a cover letter, and I'll tell you more why. And here's why I'm really down on resumes. Now, you all have to have one, and it should be the traditional chronological order. Don't get fancy with them. Don't do the skills-based or organize it differently. No flowers on the side, no picture. Just do a good old-fashioned resume. But that's all it is a chronological, I'm going to say it, chronological barf of your background. That's all it is. It is a chronological list of your stuff. It is not telling a story of what you want to be next. It's not telling what your passions are, what inspires you, what's great about you, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Nothing. So it needs to be sent in. I'm going to make it back up to what you send in today. It's backup. It's important. So please don't expect anyone to even read your resume in its entirety and get an aha out of it. There's just, we get stacks of them as hiring managers, and they all look the same, and we have to weed through and play Where's Waldo. So all of you are going to change that. Now, here's another downside of you all. I could take all of your cover letters and probably put them all in this little trash bin right down here because they all look the same. Please do not ever, ever, ever regurgitate your resume on a cover letter. It is not the place you summarize who you are at a higher level. That's not telling your story either. So I want you to check this out, and I want you to take a highlighter on your cover letter or any communications on job search and highlight how many times you use I, me, or my. And I want you to transform them into you, your company, you're looking for this, and then you can end it with, and I have that. You need this, I've got that. I want you to pivot first on what they're looking for. They're the buyer, you're the product. Okay, so stop the I, me, catch yourself. Say, oh, that's all about me? They don't care about that. So brand new technique. So I really want you to focus here. All of you on the left have this in a hard copy, but this handout is right now up on BMES. I want Terry to raise her hand, and let's give her a round of applause for putting this whole curriculum together. Terry Young, yay. So Terry has already made all the handouts, all the materials, all available to you, but this is going to change your game. You will stand out among all the others, other than the others in this room. So maybe 200 of you will be able to have a candidate packet, but all the rest out there won't know, and they'll be submitting resumes. What it is, I'm going to go from back to front. Your resume is there. Again, I don't want any of you walking out of here saying, she said, don't send in a resume ever. Not saying that. You will. This is your application packet. And even online, when they ask, submit your resume here, you're submitting this document. It's a Word document. You can take it into PDF afterwards if you, to send to them if you want. No, it doesn't even matter. So notice in the top right corner, one Word document or PDF. Your resume starts at page 3. I can go 2 pages. I don't care about that as a hiring manager. So it just starts as page 3. I'm going to work back. Page 2 is a side-by-side. It's a 1-pager. And it lists their job description on the left and your skills on the right in bullet point form. So it reads left to right, and it dissects their job description. Folks, the one thing I really have to encourage you is stop on those job descriptions and read them and dissect them. Read every sentence in them. Do your own document, because they're just one big blob. You've got to learn what they're shopping for. That's their spec. So page 2 is called a JD profile, and all it is 1 page of you're going to pull out of their job description down the left, bullet points, maybe 8 sections, and then you're going to fill in why you fill that in, why you have the skills. And don't worry if you don't have all of them. So here's another rule on job descriptions. Job descriptions are written for the perfect person that doesn't exist. Let's say that again. Job descriptions are written for the perfect person that doesn't exist. So I want you to feel confident applying, even if you only fulfill 50% of what they're looking for. If they're looking for 5 to 8 years of experience and you have 3 to 5, try. Go forward, because they're not going to find someone who has everything. All you do on the page 2 is if they say you must speak Swahili fluently, you say, I don't speak Swahili. You know, you have to be honest with it. You're not stretching the truth, embellishing, lying, anything. But willing to learn. That's what you're going to write in there. But willing to learn. Advanced Excel. Okay, I am advanced Excel, but willing to take more courses if needed. Question? Yes, some people, yeah, it's fun, great question. Should you list all the specs and then fill in what you have, or leave it blank, or do you leave the ones off that you don't fulfill? They'll catch on to that one. So I don't recommend the latter, but you just pick about 8 of the most important things on the job description. And I would have some gap areas. It shows you're self-aware and you're humble about, hey, I don't fit all of those. And then a cover letter you write last. Because now you've done this great profile comparing you to the job description. Now you're summarizing into a cover letter. And all of that, the cover letter is scripted for you up on the share site. So you don't even have to say, I don't know what she's talking about. And I literally gave you the whole candidate packet, and so you can steal from it and make one of your own. Okay, so this is the new way to apply, because what do I read? I'm now the hiring manager. I get your cover letter, and you will see it. It says, hello, manager, I'm applying for position 123. I'm excited about this position and believe I'm a fit because. And it has a mini table in there, just 3 rows. Because you're looking for this, and I have this. You're looking for someone who's very collaborative and deals well with people. Wow, I did great at that in my college work. Do you see what a difference that is when I get that and you punch me between the eyes with why you're a fit, why I should even interview you? Guys, you're not applying to win the job yet. You're applying to get an interview. So you've got to sell yourself for that interview, and that's what this does. So you can use it, and then you bring it with you into the interviews, and it helps you prepare for the interview. Here's page 2. This is the JD profile I was talking about. What's in the spec, and what are your qualifications and experiences? So imagine when you go in there to interview now, you're already prepped, because these are the types of questions they're asking. Tell me when you've done this. And they're picking out stuff from their own JD. This is the #1 breakdown out there, is candidates aren't viewing themselves as the product, and they're not viewing the buyer as someone who's, and how many times you go and as a buyer where there's a whole spec there, maybe for a PC, a Mac, a washing machine, but you've got one for the job. So take this very seriously and answer their questions that they're seeking in their job description. Some are not written as well. I get that. They're not all great. I get that. Do the best you can. But present yourself better than the next person. Yes?
I know that a lot of companies and employers, like, if you're like filling out applications for internships or whatever, they have like very specific things that they want you to upload in a specific order or files. I have never like seen the JD profile before. Is that something like
You won't.
you would tag it on to like the cover letter, when you upload your cover letter?
Great question. Where do you put, so you've never, no, you won't ever. This is something I designed and created from hiring for 30 years because the game of Where's Waldo is so broken and it's hurting you guys. No, this is one document. So you put it where they almost always, 99% say attach any other documents here. So you have to fill out anything they want you to fill out on LinkedIn, anywhere, their website. You got to follow their stuff, okay? Fill it out. But then they almost always say, any other documentation, attach it here, or a resume. This is instead of a resume. This is exactly what I want you to stop doing, is submitting resumes alone. The only very, very rare case when they want a plain text resume, those are very, very rare. Then you've got to submit a plain text resume. Use your best sense, guys. You'll know, oh, I can't use this here. Then you can send it in separately, though. And once you are on the phone interview or the face-to-face, bring it in. Do it. And at least you'll be prepared for a conversation. But if you can submit it 99% of the times, you'll be able to submit it. You'll see when you go back and try it. Okay, we're going to go on now. Assume that you won the interview, and I want to give you some tips and tricks there, okay? So first of all, the whole word interview really bothers me because, and I fell into the same trap because I've been interviewed a lot throughout my career, changing jobs and all that. And that is that you perceive the interview as that formal one where you get all dressed up and you have a specific job that you're going to interview for. That is false. An interview is every meeting type that relates to your career, anything. In Starbucks, meeting someone who's going to help you, a friend of dad's, or someone who's a professor at University of Washington who's going to spend some time with you. Guess what? That's an interview. You need to treat every interaction as if they're watching you and checking you out. Can you do the job? Will I refer them? Will I make that extra phone call for them? So I want you to take meetings, job search meetings, even job fairs, every interaction very seriously. Now, and then there's some common rules then, if you think that way, that go along with every meeting, such as being brief, concise, and clear. It could be a quick phone call, and it could be with a recruiter in a company. And I hope you all know, recruiters are sometimes work for the company. Let's say Merck, you know, they're in-house, or they might be contracted out, but they work for Merck. But then there's also external recruiters who might be representing you. No matter what type, you take that meeting very seriously. Even if they call it a phone screen, you're saying to yourself, interview, 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 I gotta be on my game. Be brief, you listen really, really hard, and have a pen. I know we all have our gadgets, our smartphones, our PCs, so do I, I'm all geeked out. I always have a little, it's right down here, a little pad and pen in my purse, in my pocket. Guys, you can have it too. You need to always be ready to jot things down. And there's nothing more irritating to a hiring manager or a networking person or a career counselor when you come in empty-handed to have a conversation about your job search. That means it's not that important to you. And you're not showing respect that they're going to give you information. So get in the habit now of writing, writing, writing everything. You'll see what value that brings to you and to the other person. If you have show and tell, if you have a PowerPoint, something that you did in school, bring stuff, no matter where you are. Someone might say, you might on an airplane, if you sat next to me, I'd probably say, oh, do you happen to have a resume with you? I'd love to see it. No. You know, and most people don't. We don't walk. But if you're in job search mode, you might want to carry one around with you all the time, just to have it. You want to be engaging. You want to always just look people. You know, I know it's hard for some of us. I mean, some are. And please, introvert, extrovert. 50% of the world is one or the other. So you don't get that excuse to say, I'm not comfortable doing that. But learn how to at least have a solid handshake. Make eye contact and smile. If you can remember those three things, you're golden. Just a nice, firm handshake, look at the person, and smile once in a while makes such a difference. Because networkers and hiring managers want to hire happy people and engaged people. Because you're going to work on teams, right? You're going to work in a work environment, not in a little space by yourself, most likely. And then always, always, always follow up, thank you, thank you, thank you. You cannot thank someone enough for the tiniest thing. It could be an administrative assistant who set up a job meeting with you, a network meeting, anyone you met. You always want to graciously thank them. You can do that via LinkedIn. So everyone you meet, any one of us, myself included, can now be part of your network. And you must take that accountability to connect on LinkedIn and things like that. And start getting in the habit of doing that. Okay, here's the bad news in interviewing errors. And remember what I meant by the word interviewing. So it's not just that big meeting where we put on our business suit. It's never be unprepared. Never, ever, ever have you not spent the night before or hours before seriously considering what that meeting is going to be about, what kind of agenda, what should I do, because you own every one of these meetings. Never be late or sloppy. I'm going to give you a rule for being late. By the way, it's one of the top avoidable mistakes that you will make. I'll say that again. One of the top most avoidable mistakes that you will make. So avoid it. And it's being late. And I just had a call with a candidate this morning who I was doing a role play, and she was late for her interview. And not just with me being a role play, so you bet she heard it from me, right? You need to be 30 minutes early for any interview, anything that has to do with your job, 30 minutes early or you're late. So that means in the Career Placement Center, if you have an appointment and you're doing a role play interview, I want you sitting there 30 minutes early. Because number one, it'll make you more relaxed and confident. You get to prepare, but you won't have any darn excuses like there was traffic on the 405, my dog ate my homework. So start blocking in your calendar 30 minutes before your most important thing of your life, which is getting a job. And that means phone interviews too. A recruiter will ask you, when is a good time for a phone interview tomorrow? And you'll say, oh, 10 o'clock's good. But you had class until 9:50. Why did you say 10? So please say 10:30. That gives you plenty of time to get back. Sit there, spread out your notes, because I hope you're cheating on phone interviews by having all these great notes in front of you, because you can. But please, everyone, you know, don't run it like a last-minute class that you're late to. This is different. Don't be negative. Never, ever say anything bad about anyone, including a prior boss. Don't let your guard down and say, I've had people in interviews, like I'm the hiring manager, and we'll be chit-chatting, and I'm kind of friendly style in that, and they'll say, well, off the record, you know, my alarm bells are just going off. Off the record, my boss was just a real idiot. You know, so, or the company was all messed up, or they couldn't launch a product. It wasn't my fault. You know, so none of that. Always positive. Never have calls from cars, airports, dogs in the back, babies crying. I've had babies. You know, you have to get yourself in a great space to have these very important phone calls. And for all of you, a big, big challenge is the language. And I had the same problem coming out of school too. It's a very casual language. Hiya, let's do coffee. You know, can I pick your brain? You got to stop all of that and go super formal as if you're talking to President Obama. Really. You have Mr. Smith. You start cover letters with dear so-and-so, not hi, Bob. You know, these aren't your best buddies. You're vying for a job in their company or a path to get to a job. So I want you to really watch the language like THX, even some of the short phrases, the acronyms. It's really quite scary of the inability sometimes to transfer what's a casual language with your friends over to proper business. And if you don't know how to construct a proper business letter, get a book on it. There's some basic books on what they should look like, the header, even your signature block. So how many of you sign in your signature block just your name? You know, Allie, John. Okay, good. Some of you do. Okay, from now on, in any job search, I want you to put your full name, your email address. I don't care if it's up top too. Email address, phone number, as an auto reply and an auto send on everything you do, even if you're replying to them. This is a signature block that should be very professional. You will see a very ugly interview right here today at 5 and a very good interview. And I'm going to be looking for your comments, and you'll learn more about interviewing today at 5. A lot more tips and tricks, and you'll see one live with Janine and I, so come on back later. I want to be sure you know that the clue is to keep thinking it's not about me. This isn't just me putting myself forward and praying that they're going to buy me. You have to pivot to them. I'll close real quickly. You glance at the follow-ups. We've already talked about it with the great question that you follow up with everyone. And go get online resources. If you're stuck on something, hey, I don't know how to answer interview questions, well, I have that in my book, but you know, just type it into Bing or Google, but Bing is preferred. And you will find an amazing amount of information. I know, once you're with Microsoft, you're always Microsoft. I'm a PC. Yes, I'm a PC. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking longer term about careers, so come at 1:30 tomorrow, same place, and mentoring and how that kickstarts your career. So here's your homework. I know you got to run. Commit, use new resources. I've got a ton of free resources on my website. Join my newsletter. By the way, will all of you please pass, those of you who filled out your little slips, will you pass them just to the inside here? And I'm going to then have a drawing later for a free book for Cut the Crap, Get a Job. And you guys can do this. I know it's competitive, but you can do it. Contact me anytime, anywhere, and give yourselves a big hand. Thank you. You're free to run.